You ever sit there, look at someone super successful and wonder, how did they get so smart? Because we all know, people who are smart seem to have it all figured out. They ace their job, their relationships, and probably even their taxes. But here's the thing. They didn't get there by memorizing boring textbooks or pulling all-nighters in college. In fact, the smartest people I know don't even act like they're smart. They just make a few simple choices that keep moving them ahead. You can be just as smart as they are. And I'm not talking about some abstract genius-level IQ stuff. I'm talking about practical, everyday smarts that actually get results in life. And no, you don't need to spend 12 years in school to get them. Let's cut through all the nonsense and break down what it really takes to be smarter, more capable, and more successful. All right, let's get this out of the way. There's this weird idea floating around that becoming smart means you need to memorize a bunch of facts, ace every test, and go to a fancy school. If you think that's how you get ahead, you're in for a rude awakening. The truth is, getting smarter doesn't involve endlessly cramming info into your brain. It's more about making small, consistent changes in how you approach learning, problem solving, and even just thinking about the world around you. It's about adopting habits that make you a better thinker, one who can actually apply what they know to real life. No exams required. Being smart isn't about memorizing facts. Let's start with the biggest misconception about getting smart, that it's all about memorization. People think, I got to remember all these random facts if I want to sound smart at a party. Wrong. No one cares if you can recite every capital city in the world or rattle off all the presidents of the United States. Being smart is less about storing facts and more about how you use the knowledge you do have. Look, think about it. Have you ever met someone who has tons of knowledge but struggles to actually use it? Yeah, that's a book-smart person. And in most cases, they get stuck in their own head, overthinking things and never taking action. Smart people, they know how to apply what they've learned. So the first rule of becoming smart is stop worrying about memorizing everything. Start focusing on understanding how to use what you know. It's like this. Imagine you're trying to solve a problem at work. You could Google 100 facts, but what really matters is how you take that information and apply it to your specific situation. You don't need to be a walking encyclopedia. You just need to know how to think through problems and make smart decisions based on what you know. Read, but read with purpose. Now, if you're thinking, all right, but how do I even get that useful knowledge? The answer is simple. You read, but not just any reading. Not those self-help books that sound good on paper, but are basically just motivational quotes strung together. I'm talking about books that actually teach you useful skills, books that give you knowledge you can apply immediately. Here's the thing. Most people read for entertainment. Nothing wrong with that. Everyone needs a good break from the grind. But if you're trying to level up, you need to read books that will teach you something practical. Non-fiction is your best friend here. And no, you don't need to read the same books everyone else is reading. You don't have to read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People or Atomic Habits just because they're popular. Find what interests you and dive into that. Want to learn about productivity? Great. Go find books about time management. Want to get better at communication? Read books on negotiation or persuasion. You'd be surprised at how much information is out there that could give you the edge you need. Quick tip. Stop overthinking your book choices. It doesn't matter if you're reading the perfect book as long as you're reading with the intent to learn. Don't get lost in the world of must-reads and bestsellers. Just pick something that aligns with your goals. Don't just read, do it. Reading is great, but it's not enough on its own. You can't just read a book on, let's say, how to build a website and then expect to wake up one morning knowing how to code. No, you've got to actually do the thing you're learning about. If you're learning how to bake a cake, do you just watch a YouTube tutorial about it? No, you actually get in the kitchen and start baking. Same goes for anything else. Reading books is step one, but the real magic happens when you take that knowledge and put it into action. This is what most people miss when they're trying to get smarter. They expect instant results, but learning something new is a process. It takes practice, repetition, and failure. Lots of it. and that's where most people give up. But the people who stick with it, they become unstoppable. Why? Because the more you practice, the better you get. You won't just learn things, you'll internalize them, and that's how you really get smart. Learn through action and fail fast. You've probably heard the saying, fail forward. There's truth to that. You can read all day long about how to launch a business, but if you don't actually try to launch one, you're just a person with a bunch of knowledge about business who never actually did anything. Here's the kicker. Failure isn't the end. It's part of the process. Every time you mess up, you're learning something new. Every mistake is feedback. Every misstep is a chance to correct course and do better next time. If you've been too scared to fail, let me ask you this. What's worse? Failing and learning from it, or staying stagnant, doing nothing, and getting nowhere? People who get smart take risks. They try things, fail, and then adjust. That's how they become experts. It's not just reading or memorizing facts, it's the willingness to get messy and figure things out in the real world. Be intentional with your environment. Okay, but you can't just read and try things without thinking about your environment. I'm not talking about whether or not you have a comfy chair or a perfect desk setup. I mean the people you surround yourself with and the habits you form. If you're hanging out with people who complain all the time, who don't push themselves to grow, or who keep distracting you from your goals, you're going to have a hard time getting smarter. Your environment shapes you, whether you like it or not. Want to level up? Surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, who push you to be better, and who challenge your ideas. And don't just take advice from anyone. Be picky about who you take advice from. It's about consistency, not intensity. Listen, you don't need to cram knowledge into your brain for 12 hours a day to get smart. This whole idea that you need to grind and burn yourself out is nonsense. You don't need to be studying every waking moment to improve yourself. What matters more is consistency. If you read for 20 minutes every day instead of binge reading for 5 hours on a Sunday, you're going to make better progress in the long run. Smartness is built over time, not in bursts. It's the small daily habits that add up to big results. So here's the bottom line. Becoming smart isn't about cramming your brain with facts. It's about developing a mindset, making better choices, and consistently applying what you've learned. It's about reading with purpose, practicing what you read, learning from your mistakes, and surrounding yourself with the right people. It's about making smart decisions, not by memorizing information, but by knowing how to use what you already know. And don't forget, being smart doesn't mean being perfect. It means being effective. So stop overthinking it, start applying yourself, learn from your mistakes, and over time you'll realize that you've become just as smart as the people you once envied. All right, I'm curious. What's one thing you've learned recently that's made you feel smarter? Drop it in the comments below and let's get a conversation going. And hey, if you want more practical advice on how to level up your life, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. See you in the next one.